Hello student, in this video we will discuss the second part of chapter number 1, that is reproduction in organism. And in previous class we have already discussed about lifespan, reproduction, some method of asexual reproduction, and actually I forgot to mention one point related to basic propagation. For basic propagation, when we take the plant part, actually that part should possess the region of not where bud is present. From this bud, new plant will arise. Habidi, basic propagation to the when loaded plant ki part to bud ki plant ki part to not ki region yoga the karigana kan the adugi not ki region to the karamani but yaramani adu but to the new plant matulokade. Okay, so in this class we will discuss sexual reproduction. And when we come to sexual reproduction, we know that in this type of reproduction, two parents are involved, gamete formation is necessary, and variation is also created. This we have discussed in previous class. But before every organism reproduce sexually, the organism have to reach a certain stage in their life. So to understand this, let's study the different phases in the life cycle of an organism. And actually there are three phases in life cycle of an organism, and these three phases are juvenile phase, reproductive phase, and senescent phase. Habidi represent tobo ngamdingi phase ama, represent tobo ngamakoi phase ama, represent tobo ngamakoi phase ama habidi. So let's discuss this phase one by one. First come to juvenile phase. This phase actually is the period of growth so that organism attain maturity to perform the sexual reproduction. Habidi sigi phase sexual maturity latring stage oigadeni. Habidi represent tobo ngamding stage oigadeni. And every organism have to pass through juvenile phase before they are sexually active. And this phase is also known as pre-reproductive phase as well as vegetative phase. Now come to next phase, that is reproductive phase. And this phase is the most important phase in the life cycle of an organism, because in this phase the organism become reproductively active. That is, organism will start producing offspring during this phase. And let's see reproductive phase of some organism. First come to plant. In plant, flowering represent their reproductive phase. Plant di lay salapado mogi reproductive phase ne. And let's see some example of plants given in the textbook. Bamboo. This bamboo flower only once in their life. And another example is Strobilanthus quintennia, which flower once in every 12 years. Next come to bird. In case of bird, laying of egg represent their reproductive phase. Usektana moina manung kolopodo moigi reproductive phase ne. And in placental mammal, cyclical changes takes place in ovary and hormones in female. And these changes represent the reproductive phase in the placental mammal. And this cyclical changes is called menstrual cycle in case of primate, and it is known as estrous cycle in case of non-primate. Habidi placental mammal dadi maruina female da cyclical change kra lakaneba magi ovary da or hormones ki level da si changes se sina kari indicate tokadino hakanda mogi reproductive phase indicate tokdene si cyclical changes te primate di kai kore bena we call it menstrual cycle kore, non-primate na kai kore bena we call it estrous cycle kore. Now come to the last phase of life cycle, that is senescent phase. So when an organism is not able to reproduce anymore, it enters into a phase which is known as senescent phase. And this is the last phase of lifespan, which ultimately lead to the death of the organism. Hai samna kanda organism duna reproduction tobo ngamaktra kanda makaramba phase enter torkane kanda senescent phase enter torkane. So these are the three phases related to life cycle of an organism. And the transition between these three phases is regulated by hormones. It may be plants or it may be animal. Ona juvenile phase agi reproductive phase agi senescent phase sigi transition se kanana regulate togani harakanda hormones na regulate togani. Next, event of sexual reproduction. We know that for sexual reproduction, fertilization is the most important event. But before fertilization takes place, there should be formation of male and female gamete. Not only that, the male gamete should be transferred to the female reproductive tract. And all this event will come under pre-fertilization event. And this pre-fertilization event will be followed by fertilization, and then this will again followed by post-fertilization event. So let's discuss these three events one by one. Now come to pre-fertilization event. This pre-fertilization, it consists of two sub-events. One is gametogenesis and other one is gamete transfer. Now come to gametogenesis. Here, gameto means gamete and genesis means formation or production. So gametogenesis means the formation of male or female gametes. Habidi male gamete, female gamete form the process to kai ko na gametogenesis ko kodene. And if the two fusing gametes are morphologically similar, then such gametes are called isogametes. Or karigumba fuse to the gamete anido morphologically sab manaba taragadi habadi structure da size sab manarba kai ko na isogamete natraga homogametes ka. Example, gamete produced by cladophora, a type of algae. And if the two fusing gametes are morphologically different, then such gametes are called heterogametes. Habadi kaigumba fuse todeba gamete anido akoi magi size da structure da khenaba taragadi aduma gamete to kai korena heterogametes ka. Example in harakanda gamete produced by fucus, a type of algae, and gamete produced by human being. And in case of human being, we already know that the male gamete is smaller and motile, whereas female gamete are larger and non-motile. And in majority of sexually reproducing organisms, the gametes are usually heterogametes. Ayamana organism ayamana leriba gamete type sekramana kanda heterogametes kataniko. And in such condition, male gametes can be known as androzoid or sperm, and female gamete is known as egg or ovum. Next, come to sexuality in organism. So when we say sexuality in organism, we means whether organism is bisexual or unisexual. And if I say bisexual, it means both male and female sex organ occurs in the same individual or in the same organism, whereas unisexual organism will have either male or female sex organ in one individual. Habadi bisexual organism oitaragadi harab organism sida both male and female sex organs se punna yawminna kadeba. Aro unisexual organism hargana ngasagi either male or female sex organs se individual amgatang yawgadene. Okay, so when we come to lower organism, there is no difference in structure and function of the gamete, and these gametes may belong to the same parent. In that condition, the organism can be called homotelic. And when these gametes are present in different parents, you can call it heterotelic. Habadi lower organism dadi ngasagi bisexual condition se homotelic over. That means homotelic is another term for bisexual. Aduga lower organism da unisexual condition do heterotelic over. That is heterotelic is another term for unisexual. Now let's see some other terms related to bisexual and unisexual. Bisexual say you can call it hermaphrodite or monoecious. And let's see some example. Cucurbit, coconut, sara, these are the example of bisexual plant. And earthworm, spawn, tapeworm, list, these are the example of bisexual animals. And this term unisexual can also be known as what? Dioecious. And some dioecious plants are papaya, dead palm, markensia. That means papaya, dead palm, markensia, they are unisexual plants. And in unisexual plant, the male flower is known as staminate and female flower is known as pistillate. So from this, we know some terms related to bisexual and unisexual. So bisexual, you can call it homotelic, hermaphrodite, and monoecious. And unisexual, you can call it dioecious. Okay, now next let's discuss one important point related to gametes. And the point is that gametes are always haploid, even though the parent organism which produce that gamete may be either diploid or haploid. So if the parent is diploid, then definitely the parent will undergoes meiosis to form haploid gamete. And if the parent is haploid, then the parent undergoes mitosis to form haploid gamete. 하이ꯕꯗꯤ gamete adum haploid ꯑꯣꯏꯒꯅꯦꯕ. ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯥ gamete produce ꯑꯣꯏꯕ parents ꯇꯣ ꯀꯩ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯌꯥꯏ haploid ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯏ diploid ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯏꯕ. ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ parents-ꯅ different types of cell division ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ haploid gamete produce ꯇꯧꯒꯅꯦꯕ. That is, different parents perform different types of cell division to produce haploid gametes. Now, come to the next sub-event of pre-fertilization, that is gamete transfer. In several lower organisms, both types of gamete may be motile, or only male gamete may be motile. And in such condition, a medium like water is required to transfer the male gamete. And in such condition, as gamete are transferred through water, many gamete may fail to reach the female. Okay, so to compensate this loss of gamete during transportation, male gametes are usually produced in large number. And when you come to flowering plant, pollination is a process through which pollen grain which contain or which carry male gamete are transferred. And in chapter number 2, we will discuss pollination in details. So there is something about gamete transfer. Next event, fertilization. We know that fertilization is the most important event of sexual reproduction. And we know that fertilization means the fusion of male and female gamete, which result in the formation of a single cell known as zygote. And this zygote is always diploid because it is formed by the fusion of two haploid gametes. And syngamy is alternative term for fertilization. This is something about fertilization. And for sexually reproducing organism, fertilization is important. But in some organism, new individual can be produced from the female gamete that is also without fertilization. Then such phenomenon will be known as parthenogenesis, and the organism is known as parthenogenetic organism. This turkey, rotifer, lizard, honeybee are some example of parthenogenetic organism. 하이ꯕꯗꯤ sexually reproducing organism gidi fertilization habisna khwaidagi important event oidineba. Adubu organism kharadadi kadauge hakanda female gamete gi without fertilization anobu individual am produce ngame. Amai produce toba taragadi adugi process to kai korekna parthenogenesis kawi aro organism duna parthenogenetic organism kawi. Okay, next, let's see where this syngamy or fertilization takes place in different organisms. This fertilization or syngamy can take place inside or outside the body. And if fertilization takes place outside the body, then it is called external fertilization. And for this type of fertilization, external medium like water is required. And such type of external fertilization will be definitely performed by aquatic organisms like algae, fishes, and amphibians. And in those organisms which show external fertilization, the organisms show similarities in their sex, and they also release a large number of gamete in water body just to enhance the chances of fertilization. Okay. And another important point for organism performing external fertilization is that the offspring produced by them are vulnerable to predator. 하이버디 ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ external fertilization gidi disadvantage am laigane karigino hakanda mapanda fertilize tawgrana developments mapan tawnidana aduna offspring do my predator da expose tawridra aduna mai kadoba survival advantage se khara low igane. And last one, if fertilization takes place inside the female parent body, then it is called internal fertilization, and it is performed by most organisms. Next, come to the last event of sexual reproduction, that is post-fertilization event. Here, we will discuss all the events which occur after fertilization. Okay, and we also know that after fertilization, zygote is formed, and if fertilization is external, then definitely the zygote will form in the external medium, that is water. And if the fertilization is internal, then zygote will form inside the body. And in some lower organisms like fungi and algae, what happens? This zygote can develop thick wall and to protect the zygote from unfavorable condition. And in most of the organisms, we know that the zygote will divide by mitosis to form new individual. But in those organisms which have haplontic life cycle, that means organism having haploid number of chromosomes in their body, the zygote will undergoes meiosis, that is reduction division, to produce haploid individual. हाइबदी organism ayambada zygote sikadogane kanda mitosis toroga anoba individual am form togane adubo karigumbo organism duna haplontic type of life cycle lemba taragadi haibadi moi body sida half the number of chromosomes na my body se represent romba taragadi anoba individual am form toge haiba taragadi zygote twice in yabodo aduda kadoni rejection division is meiosis toroga anoba individual am form togane. So this zygote form a vital link between two successive generations. Next, when this zygote divides, we know that it will develop into embryo, and this process of development of embryo from zygote is known as embryogenesis. And during embryogenesis, two important events takes place. One is cell division and other one is cell differentiation. This cell division will help in increasing the number of cells. On the other side, cell differentiation help the cell to form specialized tissues and organs so that it can form a new organism. Okay. So next, on the basis of development of this zygote, animal can be either viviparous or oviparous. So let's see the difference. When we say oviparous, here animal will lay fertilized or unfertilized egg. On the other side, viviparous, animal give birth to young ones. Ovi. In reptiles and birds, the fertilized egg are covered by hard calcareous cell. On the other side, in case of vivi, these type of cells are absent. And when you compare these two type of animal, the chances of survival of young ones of viviparous organism are more as compared to oviparous organism. Why? Because of proper embryonic care. Haibadi organism ni se compare torkanda viviparous organism ki offspring na survival advantage se wang bu hele karigino ha kanda ngai development se inside the body torobani na proper embryonic care lo bu help maramna. So this is about plant, animals. Now come to plant. In case of plant, after fertilization, we know that ovary develops into fruit, which consists of two parts, pericarp and seed. And this pericarp will develop from ovary wall, whereas seed develop from ovule. So these are some of the points related to post-fertilization event in plants. Now, before we wind up, let me give you a summary of this class. So in this class, we have learned about gametogenesis, gamete transfer, syngamy, parthenogenesis, and some point related to post-fertilization event. And this chapter is just the introduction about reproduction. And when you study this chapter, you study the example also, okay? And question for this chapter have already been uploaded in the school website. Please download it and try to answer all the questions, okay? So that brings me to the end of this class. Stay home, stay safe, and thanks for your attention.